I'm going to skip over a lot of the boring stuff, but I'll give a general synopsis of what's going on. You can see I'm hitting it with this wire wheel, which hopefully I got enough to finish the interior, because we're not going up the firewall much at all on the inside, just getting the floor. Yeah, hit all the big rust spots, right? Get those down to bare metal. Then I'm going over other spots with the cup. I'm gonna have to get some solvent to clean off some of the greases and things like that. Like, it's able to blast off most of the wax up here with the wire wheel, but it's not perfect. There's still pieces left. We'll get this thing de-rusted and scuffed up the best we can. The whole window frame's done now. And I'm thinking I've got enough. Actually, I'm almost positive I've got enough of the Raptor liner, not Rhino liner. I keep saying Rhino liner. Raptor liner, right? It's a urethane, like 2K based truck bed liner. So I think maybe we'll do the roof, right? So instead of worrying about taping stuff off, I can just tape off these seal. Actually, I can pop the seals out if I want. I'm afraid of breaking the plastic clips. So, but still, that'd be the better way to do it. Is pop these seals off and tape, do the roof line and the sunroof all at the same time. So we're just done with that. And then it'll just be fenders, doors in the rear end of the car to do later down the road. So, and I got 2 gallons of this stuff. I think the idea is to do everything. We'll do the interior first to get the gun dialed in with the texture that I deem acceptable, right? To do the whole car in if I decide to go that route. And then do the engine bay. And then whatever's left over, we just thicken it up on the inside to help use it as sound deadening, just really coat that floor in Raptor liner. But I'd imagine that I can always use Dynamat. So maybe, yeah, maybe I'll do the roof of the car, and if I end up with a whole gallon left over, which I'd imagine I could, then I could just save that in the tint to do the rest of the car maybe next year after the swap's done. So yeah, we'll check back in once I got primer down. All right, well, here we go. It's about as good as we prepped it for, right? So I sold one of my cans of paint to my buddy's dad, and then he ended up needing more. So he grabbed my other 2 and then bought me 2 as a replacement. Yeah, in hindsight, I would have liked to have one more can to put another coat down, but once I realized that I was going to be right at the ragged edge, I made sure that we had at least 2 coats, 2 like good coats on anything that was bare metal. And we had what amounts to either a coat or a coat and a half on everything else. So that should be fine to get it ready to put the Raptor liner on. So we'll let it hang out for a couple days. Maybe get to that this weekend. I'd have to go get tint. I still haven't bought tint, so I need to buy tint, and I need to get a hold of my buddy's dad and see when he's available to help out, because he's got the gun and he's gotten really good at mixing this stuff after painting a few vehicles with it. Okay, I've got a bunch of junk to unpack. Box full of paint stuff, pannier full of paint stuff. We'll get that into the garage and open it all up, take a look. Here's what we brought back to the house today. So from my buddy's dad, the nicer Raptor liner gun. Saw the finish on his Sprinter van and liked it. It looks like bed liner, right? But it had a good texture to it as far as bed liner goes. And that was 3 turns out on the nozzle and 50 PSI. So we'll try to mimic that on half of the floor, or at least maybe a quarter of the floor, and we'll see. But we'll experiment a little bit, right? Because what I'd like to do is I got reducer, right? So when we do the Raptor liner, we can thin it out a little bit for the engine bay, but we can try it here in the car first to see what the finish looks like. So it would be nice to have this a little smoother and not super bed linery looking, right? And if we get it too smooth, it's going to be really thin and it won't be as tough as we're looking for, right? Because we're looking for something that will kind of protect things a little bit. Now, he had a half-used, partially used can that's only a day and a half old. He put it in the refrigerator, so we'll see if that still sprays. And then for, being on the spot for him and giving him paint earlier, he gave me a full can as a thank you. So I'm not sure if I want to use that full can. It might be nice to get that full can on and just spray everything some more, but at the same time, it'd be nice to save it, right? And then when we do decide to do the body, we hit all the rusty spots and then hit them with that primer. You know what, we're going to do the body next year, not this year, so I think, yeah, we'll use up both of those tonight, get some more coats of the primer down, and then, yeah, Sunday we'll do the Raptor liner. All right, so we got the car out in the driveway, and I think I've got some plastic and some paper for taping off so that Steve donated. My thought is take that plastic and just cover the front of the van, just in case. I don't imagine that I would somehow get overspray from here all the way there, but it is thick. It's a, thicker paint, so a little bit of plastic for peace of mind, especially since we had that guy back a trailer into it, and I got a new bumper and new hood paint and all that good stuff. I want to keep it protected. And then here's the gun that comes with the kit. So I bought 2 gallons. It was a kit that came with 2 gallons. So this one's full of all of this stuff. This is what comes in the 1 gallon kit. And then this is the gun, the cheapo gun they ship you. Just a one size nozzle, no indication of pressure at the gun. This is the one that I got from my friend's dad, who just did his van. So he was running 50 psi at the gun with the trigger down, and then 3 turns out on the nozzle, which is where it's set now. And then I completely forgot about this stuff. Like, as soon as I saw it, I remembered it, of course. But maybe we'll go ahead and do that now while we're waiting on Steve and waiting on setting up other stuff, because this will be inside the frame rail. There's really no prep we can do. We know there's a wax and junk in there. So I think the plan is get this little hose out and just empty that whole can. We'll pop these rear plugs, and we'll pull up from in the back, put those back on, and then push in from up here and just try to get inside that area. And then I think as well we'll jam them up inside the nut here and just give some spray in the interior of those, because it's not going to make anything worse, that's for sure. Yeah, that's neat. I like it. So yeah, I'll just get it in there, get it in the frame, pull it, push it down as far as we can, and then pull backwards. Maybe I'll jam some down in there where the fuel hoses go too. Okay, I used about half the can inside those 2 frame rails, and inside the lower cups where the subframe bolts up to the K-member, and then just used brake clean actually and sprayed this hose out, so it'll be good for next time. I think what I'll do is save this other half of the can for when I'm back underneath the car doing the fuel tank and brake lines, things like that, lining those up. There's a couple spots where I could spray in behind where I had to like weld and fix stuff just to make sure the backs of those welds don't start rusting up. So it really, like, I got some drips on the mat over here, and then after I sprayed for only a couple minutes, tried to wipe them off, and they were already really tacky. So I think that stuff goos up pretty fast and makes a really thick layer over stuff. So yeah, like I said, it won't make things worse. So hopefully it helps. It says it has zinc additives and all kinds of crazy stuff to help keep rust away, and yeah, I can't imagine it's bad for it. Well, Steve's here to help, and we decided we're going to mix up a half batch to start, and I'm going to try this weird siphon gun that I found that's all dirty and gross because it's going to be under carpet anyway. And if this sprays nice and makes it nice and smooth, we might try to clean it out a little bit before we do the real parts, and then we'll do the rest of the interior with that gun because it'll just go faster and be easier. So here's the plan. We're going to do 12 ounces of the Raptor liner, add 4 ounces of the hardener, add 2 ounces of the tint, and whatever 20%, well, maybe we'll just eyeball it and do the reducer. Steve knows paint better than me. He can probably tell whether it's going to spray nice or not and help adjust. It's thick. We'll try it here. Hold Steve's new tripod. Try to keep my gut out of the pictures. So we want 12 ounces of... We go to the other side since I'm right-handed. You get it a little close. Oh, that stuff's thick.
Looks like the milk I had with breakfast.
Oh, that's nasty, Steve. I really want, yeah, I kind of wonder if I should have just put the hardener in here, because you have 60 minutes working time. I'd imagine we can use it in 60 minutes. 11.
How many glugs is in an ounce?
Looks like a glug is half an ounce plus or minus an eighth of an ounce.
It's about one more glug.
Bull. Yeah, 11 and 7/8. That's good enough.
Yeah, that is it.
That is it. Now, this one has those ball bearings in it, so it's a little heavier. Does ball bearings weigh that much?
A lot a bit heavier.
Maybe we'll make sure it's at 12.
Did you tear out your bottle?
Tear out my bottle.
Yeah. Like
Right.
zero it?
Yeah, I
Okay.
put this on and teared it. Now it's 12 and 3/8, but it has 3 ball bearings.
See, the difference is this bottle isn't teared though when you say, oh, well, it would be.
It's the same
Yeah,
bottle.
Same bottle.
But this has 3. This one, wait. This one has the ball bearings in it. This one should be heavier. God damn it.
12 and 3/8. And what's the other one? 15?
15 something. This one should be heavier because it has the ball bearings. If we're halves and halves.
Hmm.
So maybe we done goofed.
I would just go half and half by weight.
$13 and 3/8, 14 and a quarter. Either way, this one should end up heavier.
One more glug.
That was a
That was a
big
good
one.
one.
Yeah, that was a big one. 14 and an 8. Okay, that should be fine. That's close enough.
Okay.
And then I need 4 ounces. Wait, shit. Which one says black? The one that says black. This is tinnable, so this is what I poured out of. Yeah, and this is the one. This is the one we want to work with. Then we want 4 ounces of hardener because we do 8 ounces for the whole container. So it did this to 18 ounces. It's 16 ounces a pound, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Whoops.
A little over, but
Yeah. It'll
never work
survive.
fast.
Oh, is it hardened faster? Is that what it does?
Yeah.
Shit! Alright. I need two ounces of tint. I wonder if I'll have to stir this stuff. I haven't opened it yet. I don't even know what tint looks like. Ooh, yeah, I'll have to stir that. Look at all that metal flake. I got a stir stick and a chip brush for it. This one can was $40. It was not too bad.
No, it's gonna go a long ways.
So I think this I'm going to pour into those cups because the tint doesn't really dry, right? Like, not fast. Like, I can pour it into a cup and then pour it back in here.
Yeah, yeah.
Should it mix better than that? Just look at like strips.
No, it's always gonna look a little mottled on the top.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do this. Let's, so we just want 2 ounces.
Right on.
What if you just painted a car with pure tint? Would it do anything?
I mean, I don't know how that would work.
Probably not at all. Okay, 2 ounces of tint. So we lost the tear on the bottle, but it doesn't matter because now we're just measuring raw ounces.
Mm-hmm.
Good, good. And then should I mix some now and then put the reducer in, or put the reducer in now?
No, you mix it with the reducer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this will mix better, right?
Yeah. You just have to mix it again if you didn't.
Right. So we want to do 10% to start.
Yeah, I would start light because that tint's really going to reduce that out too.
Right. This bottle was only like 2 ounces when we put that empty one up here.
Mm-hmm.
So we just pull 2 ounces off that, call it 1 pound 5 ounces, which is 21, right? 21 ounces, so 2.1. We'll just add 2 ounces of hardener or reducer to see what it feels like. Sound good?
Yep. Because that'd be 10%, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. Whoop. Good enough. Oh, look at that. Perfect. And a lid.
Lid and shake.
And a shake. So you got 3 ball bearings. Oh, it feels thinner already. Oh, don't, oh my god. Okay, so we're mixed up and we're pouring here, and then Steve's going to be a good guy and clean this container up for the next round.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see how this sprays. There's 2 ball bearings in here. And if I just like, I'd like to not have the balls in there.
I don't think it'd hurt anything.
I don't think it would either. Yeah, we'll just. Oh, they should stay in
That'll
that.
be the last thing to come out anyhow.
Yeah, the color looks good. I think that's enough tint. We'll see how it looks once it's down. Come on, balls. They're still in there. It's like, how long do I sit here and do this? I filled a good portion of this container. There's a lot of material
yeah.
in there.
Yeah, a lot of material in there.
Okay, so we can clean that out. Probably clean all this junk. I don't know what to expect. How fast this stuff dries up. Mike said it dries really fast. Let's cut that. Okay, so test the spray. See how it looks with this stuff.
Oh, it looks like bed liner.
It's a little harsh, so maybe go less pressure.
Yeah.
This is like way less pressure.
That's not fanning out for shit.
No. More reducer, higher pressure.
No, I think it's just gun setting.
This gun just sucks.
Yeah.
Well, it's just
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily know if it sucks, but
it's kind of leveling out, but not really. Let's just pour it back into the container, and then run the Raptor gun that Mike has.
okay.
So this is same settings that Mike had for a sprinter van, but there's 10% reducer in here, so might not be perfect.
There we go.
I like that.
That is much nicer.
Yeah. Well, don't waste any cardboard.
Right.
Let's get some in the jar. We don't really care much about overspray, at least I don't. I'm not protecting any of the bolts because I'm an idiot. I should tape those. I'll paint these back areas because this is going to run out fast. It's a little dirty, but I didn't plan to paint it there. Who cares if it's dirty? It's bed liners, right?
And it's under carpet.
And it's under carpet. Oops, it's kind of thick. Okay, so it's an hour later. That's how long they say to do between coats. And this is the finish we kind of got. I like it a lot because we're not trying to hide that it's bed liner, but it's nice. It's a nice texture. It's not super thick. You can see a couple spots where I accidentally hit it with my hand, but that'll get covered up. And then I had quite a bit in a little thick measuring cup left over, so I brushed it on over everything, including all the dirt and grease, because why not? We'll see what happens. Better than just throwing it in the garbage, right? So we'll do the same thing on the other side. We'll brush it on over all of the nasty stuff and not care, just to kind of see what's it gonna do, peel off and bring the dirt with it. We don't give a shit. So this time around I'll mix up half batches again so it all fits, but I'm gonna do a coat on the interior without reducer just to see how it lays compared to this, and then we'll most likely go back to using reducer on everything just because the finish looks good like that and it's not too textured. Okay, so like I said, we're going to keep the same ratios, but this time I'm going to pour the hardener in first and shake a snot out of it. That way it's a little thinner, it should pour easier, right? And then I'll split it in half, add the tint, and then we'll add the reducer to one of them and not both of them. Well, we're 3 coats in. That's going to be it. It looks really good. Not good enough to put on the exterior of the car, I don't think. I think Steve's convinced me that we just do normal paint for that because the body's in good enough shape. We should. But for an engine bay, I think it looks really good. The texture's great. It's nice and thick. This stuff we used reducer on, and then on the wheel wells over the dirt we used the thicker stuff, and on the interior we didn't use reducer. And then I actually ended up using way more color than I intended to by accident, because I was putting 2 ounces in each half batch instead of 2 ounces per full batch, or 3 ounces per full batch, whatever. So it's okay because we're not going to use the rest of that tint anyway. So when I get paint mixed up for the exterior, it'll, they'll mix the color on the spot for that. So I think what we're going to do is I've got 5 bottles left over, and that's enough to do the truck. So Steve's going to order some up to do his truck after he puts the wheel arches on, and we'll just have a giant Raptor liner truck painting day. So yeah, pretty good Sunday afternoon.